We're going to do one more where it won't cross perfectly. Negative x squared plus 4x minus 1 equals 0. So what is our y-intercept? -1. So you can go on your y-axis and plot 0, -1. What do we find next? The axis. So what's the opposite of b? -4 over 2 times -1. So what's our axis in this one? +2. And we can draw a vertical line, dotted line at +2. And plugging that in, make sure you use parentheses. And that you keep that negative out front of the x squared. It should be out front of the parentheses. So what do we get for that? So then 2, 3 is our vertex. So we've got everything that we're supposed to have graphed. And now using symmetry, if you got the point over here, you got the point on the other side as well. And again, if you just sketch that, connecting those points, you wouldn't know exactly where it crosses. So the other thing you can do on your calculator is use your table and find out where it's at when x equals 1. So hit your y equals, and you can start every problem off by graphing in your calculator. You can do that at any point. -x squared plus 4x minus 1. And hit graph. Can you tell exactly where it crosses by looking at the graph on your calculator? No, you can tell it crosses in between. The one on the left side, you can't really tell at all where it crosses. So if we hit second table, what do we get when x equals 1? What's the value when x equals 1? Out of your table. Y equals 2. So we have the point 1, 2, and we would also have the point on the other side. So now if you sketch it, and you can, because you can see that on one side it's here, and down below it's there, it's going to cross right in between those two values. Now, you guys are lucky because the book won't even have the answers for where that crosses, because without our calculators, there's really no way to tell without some pretty in-depth math solving. And even then, it would just be guessing. So all the years past, your answer to this problem for where are the zeros, you would just say between 0 and 1 somewhere. You don't know where. And then over here, you would say between 3 and 4. However, since we do have the calculators, we're going to go ahead and get the zeros out of them. So if you didn't get how to calculate the zeros, I'll go through it one more time. Please stop me and ask questions if you have them. How do you tell what's left bound and right bound? Okay, well, it's going to be what I just had written up here, between 0 and 1. You don't know where, but the left bound side will be 0, the right bound side will be 1. It's in between there somewhere. That's all you're telling your calculator, and then it figures out where it crossed. Well, this would be left, this would be right. So go ahead and hit your calculate key. Go to 0. And there it says left bound. And it's got a question mark after it. Your calculator is actually asking you what's the left-hand side. So you know that a 0 is in here, right there somewhere. So you just have to pick a point that's on the left side of that. The left side of that point. So it's anywhere down here. So that's what you're selecting when you go on your calculator. You're picking a point anywhere along here. It's telling the calculator that's the left-hand side of where I want you to look. And you push enter. And so it's marking that, again, it's marking that part. It's saying, okay, I'm not looking anywhere down there. I'm just looking from here over. So then for the right bound, this is, again, here's your point. So you select anywhere on the right side of that. Anywhere along in here. That's on the right side of the point that you think is a 0. So you go up there and select it. And then it says, you want me to guess? It's got the arrows marked. You are telling the calculator in between here, somewhere, can't draw a very good arrow, but in there somewhere, there's a 0. You want me to guess where it's at? Yes, I do. And so your calculator will guess for you. And you get a big long decimal this time because it doesn't cross at an exact value. So for these problems on your homework, just round it to 2 decimal places. So if you round the number you get there, what would you get? 0.27. So 0.27 is one place it crosses. And then you do the same thing to calculate the other side. You know it's going to be somewhere around 3.5. 3.73. Exactly, until you calculate. You got 3.73. So again, second calculate. And you're picking a point on the left side. This would be the left side of your point, somewhere up there. And you should get 3.73. So your right bound will be anywhere down there, any of those points. Now, what was the other possibility for answers? You get one answer. So if you end up with a graph that looks like this, you only got to find 1 0 for that. Just make sure you label it a double root. So your calculator would tell you that the 0 is 4. So write x equals 4. And you can either circle it or just write dr beside it so that I know, and that'd be -4, so that I know you know it's a double root. The other possibility is what? It doesn't cross at all. So it would be nice if we could just graph it in our calculator and see that it doesn't cross at all and write no real solution and move on. Right? However, you still have to find the 3 values and you still have to sketch the graph. Then you can write no real solution. So don't just graph that in your calculator, see that it doesn't cross and move on. You still have to go through these steps and then write no real solution at the bottom for homework. Two through 28 even. On page 49 and 250. You may skip number 12. Not 12 problems, just number 12.